You ever wake up and feel like your life is stuck on repeat? Same routine, same problems, same excuses. It's like you're living in a loop that you didn't sign up for. You scroll through your phone, watch other people seemingly crushing life, while you feel like you're sinking deeper into this weird, invisible quicksand. And no matter how much you tell yourself, I need to get it together, you don't actually do anything. You just stay stuck. Sound familiar? I get it. Being in a rut is frustrating because, deep down, you know you want more. You know you're capable of more. But when you're in that cycle, everything feels hard. Motivation, gone. Energy, non-existent. You start questioning everything, and the worst part? You don't even know where to start to break out of it. But here's the thing. Getting out of a rut is way simpler than you think. Not easy, but simple. And I'm going to show you exactly why, and more importantly, how to snap out of it starting today. See, most people think they need some massive life overhaul to break free from a rut. Like, maybe I need to move to a new city, quit my job, or find some magical, life-changing morning routine. But the truth is, getting unstuck isn't about flipping your entire world upside down. It's actually about doing the exact opposite. Small shifts, tiny tweaks, momentum. The good news? You don't need to feel ready to start. You don't need perfect circumstances. You just need one small action to break the cycle. That's it. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how to make that happen without overwhelm, without overthinking. Let's go. All right, first things first. Recognize the rut for what it actually is. A rut isn't some mysterious force that's holding you hostage. It's simply a series of habits and thought patterns that have become automatic. That's all. You wake up feeling unmotivated, so you scroll your phone for 30 minutes. That makes you feel worse, so you procrastinate on your to-do list. That stress makes you tired, so you binge Netflix to escape. And before you know it, another day gone, another day stuck, and the cycle repeats. The trick? Interrupt the pattern, even in the smallest way. Here's something wild. Your brain hates change. It likes familiar patterns, even if those patterns are bad for you. Why? Because familiarity equals safety. It doesn't care if you're miserable as long as you're predictable. But guess what? The moment you do one thing differently, you throw a wrench into the cycle, and suddenly you start shifting. Let me give you an example. There was a time when I was deep in a rut. I felt stuck, unmotivated, and honestly just blah. I kept telling myself, tomorrow I'll do something about it. But tomorrow came, and nothing. Then one day, instead of scrolling my phone first thing in the morning, I just got up. I walked outside for 5 minutes, that's it. Nothing crazy. But that one tiny action, just getting outside, made me feel 10% better. And you know what? That 10% gave me just enough energy to do something else productive. That's how you start. So right now, I want you to think of one tiny change you can make today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, maybe it's drinking a glass of water as soon as you wake up. Maybe it's going outside for 2 minutes. Maybe it's making your bed. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be different from what you usually do. That tiny shift, that's your first domino. Now, once you've interrupted the cycle, the next step is simple. Just keep going. And before you roll your eyes and say, yeah, easier said than done, let me explain. Your brain doesn't respond to big goals. It responds to progress. You don't need to fix your life overnight. You just need to prove to yourself that you're moving forward, even slightly. That's what builds momentum. Think about it. Have you ever had one of those days where you accidentally get a ton of stuff done? Maybe you clean one thing in your room and suddenly you're organizing your entire space? That's momentum in action, and it works in every area of your life. The fastest way to build it? Lower the bar. Instead of saying, I need to work out for an hour, say, I'll do one push-up. Instead of saying, I need to write a full report, say, I'll write one sentence. Instead of saying, I need to be productive, say, I'll do one thing that moves me forward. Why? Because action creates motivation, not the other way around. You're not always gonna feel like doing something, but if you just start. Now let's be real for a second. Some days are gonna suck. You'll wake up feeling off. You'll try to push through and still feel like you're dragging yourself through mud. And that's okay, because getting out of a rut isn't about being perfect. It's about choosing progress over perfection every single time. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to wait until you feel like it. You just need to take the smallest possible step. And if today's step is literally just brushing your teeth and going outside for 2 minutes, that's still progress. All right, let's recap real quick. If you feel stuck, here's what you need to do. Interrupt the pattern. Do one small thing differently today. Lower the bar. Stop aiming for perfection. Just aim for movement. Let action create motivation. Don't wait to feel ready. Just start. Being in a rut is not a permanent state. It's a temporary cycle that you have the power to break. And once you do, that momentum will start pulling you forward faster than you think. So do me a favor. Right now, pick the smallest thing you can do today that's different from yesterday, and then just do it. No overthinking, no debating, just action. And when you do, come back and tell me in the comments what you did. I want to hear about it, because trust me, once you take that first step, you'll realize just how simple this really is. You got this. Now, go make a move. All right, so So by now you know the deal. Break the cycle, lower the bar, and let action create motivation. But let's talk about something that really messes people up when they're trying to escape a rut. Waiting for the perfect plan. You know exactly what I mean. Tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna turn my life around. I just need to figure out the best way to do it. And suddenly, instead of actually doing something, you're lost in a black hole of YouTube videos, productivity hacks, and morning routine breakdowns. You convince yourself that you need the right strategy before you can take action. But guess what? That's just procrastination in disguise. I used to do this all the time. I'd think, okay, before I start working out, I need to find the best workout plan for my body type. Before I started reading, I need to research the top 10 books for personal development. Before I started fixing my sleep, I need to watch a documentary on sleep cycles. And before I knew it, a week went by, a month went by, and nothing changed. That's because planning feels productive, but it's actually just another way of avoiding the real work. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to read 10 self-help books first. You just need to start with whatever you've got. Think about it like this. Imagine you're in a car, stuck in the mud. Your tires are spinning, but you're not going anywhere. You don't sit there and research the most effective way to get out of mud for 3 hours. You don't wait until the weather changes. You just start rocking the car back and forth, trying anything to get some traction. That's exactly how getting out of a rut works. You start moving, even if it's messy, even if it's not perfect, because once you get even the slightest bit of momentum, everything gets easier. And here's where things get interesting. Once you start, even in the smallest way, your brain starts working with you instead of against you. There's this concept in psychology called identity-based change, and it's honestly a game changer. Basically, every time you take action, no matter how small, your brain starts rewriting the story you tell yourself. Let's say you've been feeling lazy for weeks, doing nothing but binge-watching shows. Your brain starts identifying with that. You start thinking, I'm just a lazy person, I have no energy, I'm not disciplined. The moment you do one productive thing, maybe you take a walk, maybe you write one sentence in your journal, your brain goes, wait, maybe I'm actually someone who takes care of themselves. Maybe I'm not stuck, I was just in a temporary slump. And that tiny shift, that's what fuels change. It's kind of like going to the gym. The hardest part isn't lifting the weights, it's getting yourself through the door. Once you're there, you're not going to just turn around and leave, right? That's why the goal isn't to completely fix your life overnight. It's just to get your foot in the door. Do one thing that disrupts the pattern, and suddenly you're not the same person who was stuck yesterday. Now, let's talk about what happens after you've started, because this is where a lot of people fall into another trap. Maybe you've had days where you finally get motivated, you do a bunch of things, and for a brief moment, you feel amazing. But then the next day, you wake up and feel exactly the same. Low energy, no motivation, right back to square one. It's frustrating because you start thinking, why can't I just stay consistent? Alright, so here's the deal. Escaping a rut isn't about waiting for some magical burst of motivation, it's about one small move. That's it. Not an entire life overhaul, not some perfect morning routine, just one decision that breaks the cycle. The best part? You don't have to feel ready, you don't have to be in the mood, you just have to start. Because once you do, something crazy happens. Your brain starts working with you instead of against you. You start seeing yourself differently. You're no longer the person who's stuck. You're the person who takes action no matter how small. And that shift, that's where everything changes. Look, I know what it's like to feel trapped in the same patterns, to wake up every day thinking I should be doing more, but feeling too drained to actually do it. I've been there. And the thing that finally snapped me out of it wasn't motivation. It was action. I stopped trying to fix everything at once. I stopped overcomplicating it. I just picked one thing, one small habit, one small win, and I committed to it. And you know what happened? That tiny change snowballed into another and another, until one day I looked around and realized I wasn't stuck anymore. That's what I want for you, because you are not stuck, you are not broken, you are not too far gone. You are one decision away from momentum, and momentum is all you need. So right now, I want you to do one thing, not tomorrow, not later, right now. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's the one small thing you're going to do today to break the cycle? Commit to it. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, because it helps more people find this and start making real changes in their lives. And if you're serious about leveling up, about getting unstuck and building a life that actually excites you, subscribe to the channel, because this is exactly what we do here. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need motivation. You just need to start. And I promise you, the moment you do, you'll realize that getting out of a rut was simpler than you ever thought. You got this. Now, go make a move. And if this video helped you in any way, drop a comment below and tell me what's the one small habit you're starting today.